Hey guys, we are back with the last segment of Tinevimbo Talks. And this month we are talking about mental health and particularly the mental health of men. I have gathered different men from different industries, your entertainment industry, your mental health industry, your sport industry, and today I'm speaking to So Profound and Godfrey Kadzere. Hi guys.
Hello.
How are
How
you?
are you doing?
Hello. Hi.
You doing good?
Now I'm winning, man.
You're winning?
I'm winning.
You're winning.
Yeah.
Good to have a temperature check in terms of mental health. Out of 10, what's your temperature check?
I think I'm scoring a distinction at least. So that's like 7.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a healthy 7, I guess.
Healthy 7.
Yeah, I'm a healthy 7.
Wow. Guys, okay. Right. How do you guys achieve that? What do you do, Godfrey, to make sure that your mental health is in check, quote unquote?
So it helps to be quite self-aware at the very least, like at least being able to know that I'm not okay when I'm not okay. Right? Like you can't be trying to find a problem if you haven't a solution if you haven't determined that there's a problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just self-awareness that when I'm tired, I know that I feel like this, or I act like this, or I talk like this. When I'm not okay mentally, that I'm more conscious of this and less considered about that, etc., etc. So yeah, it helps to just be self-aware, right? So I've done that. Yeah. Yeah.
Every time I see you on social media, you have energy. Like, how do you do it?
I'm intentional about it.
Okay.
Right? So in 24 hours, people are either working, studying, leisure, etc. To me, my 24 hours is dedicated to enjoying, creating memories, being out there, expressing, experiencing, doing, going. So that's why it seems like I have more energy, but I think it's just because my energy is more out there. Yeah, but I have a normal 24 hours.
Personally, I'm gonna piggyback off what Godfrey said, which is being self-aware. But personally, I'm very introspective. I spend a lot of time with myself. So when I'm done spending time with everyone else, I spend time with myself. I'm very introspective, and I make it a point to do that, to know exactly, to question myself why I did certain things, why certain things didn't go the way they should have, and to be honest with myself. So I don't gas myself up. I'm the first person who I tell the truth, and doing that makes me course correct a bit better and to understand when I'm not okay and when I'm okay, or why I felt the way that I felt, and just being okay with telling my feelings back to myself so that I'm aware of how I'm feeling. So that helps a lot. So I spend time with myself, and I'm very introspective, and that makes me so self-aware about who I am and the spaces I want to be in, how they make me feel, and why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, the boundaries I need to set, why I need to set those boundaries. And sometimes when I miss the mark, why I miss the mark in that moment, and that becomes then a culture. I wasn't always good at that because I couldn't spend time with myself, or I wasn't honest with myself. But now it's so easy for me because I can do that so easily. So that's it in a nutshell for me, how I achieve that.
That is definitely something that I have been going through slash learning. I've spoken about it in my book, but I mean, I've never been single. Very weird.
Like truly, truly single.
Truly, guys.
There's always someone lurking in the background.
No, there's always someone. I met my ex-husband when I was 19, and then I got divorced when I was 32.
I have tried to be an outlier or an exception to that. I am very expressive. I am very vocal about how I feel, although I've had to be intentional about that, right? So you were asking about how do I deal with things, and yeah, in recent times I've just been so vocal and expressive about how I'm feeling, even when no one's asked. Sometimes when I'm so frustrated, and I'll post it. I am frustrated. I'm annoyed. I'm hurt. I'm bleeding emotionally, or whatever it is, and it's helped. But also I think to answer the why, I can speak about my instances prior to that, in taking on this exercise of being expressive, where Pedzi mentioned earlier that men can be quite logical or pragmatic, that we think solution, and perhaps not being as open or expressive is a form of projection or projecting that we do, in that I can't solve my problem, so if I share my problem with you, you might not be able to solve it either, so why should I bother, right? Is it good? No, I guess not. Is it right? But it's that's the reality. I think I'm just speaking from a place of a reality, or the thing of I don't want to burden you, right? Again, because I'm seeing dust with this matter, and it's drained me emotionally, psychologically. If I feel like I'm making your life a little bit more difficult by sharing what's going on in my, so I don't know. That's partly why we wouldn't share certain things, where we feel like this is hard. So if I'm going to let someone else in on this, I'm making their life hard as well. And I don't want that. I don't know. It's a bit of a catch-22.
My father, who I love so much, incredible man. My whole life, he used to leave the house at a little bit before 7, would only come back home after 8. When he comes back home, grabs the remote, sits in his chair, watches the news, and after that, he's so tired, he just wants to go and sleep. I didn't have a relationship with my father. I've never heard him express the world that was inside his head. He was a first-generation moneymaker in his family. So after his father died, he was responsible for taking care of his siblings to go to school. He still had a family to support who he wanted to give his best. And he was just judged off the merit of what he brought to the table, not exactly how he felt. I'm saying that to say we only do what we know. I never saw the first man I related to in my life never expressed himself. How in the world do you expect me to relate to the world that I never saw happen in real terms, right? So naturally, as a person, I'm very caged up. I just don't speak up about my feelings. Because I saw the merit that my father he was judged off of the solutions he brought to the table, not how he felt, right? My father only then started opening up about just anything. We started having a relationship after my mom left, right? So imagine that. Like, that's when we started to see him come out more. So the reason one is that Zimbabwe was such a young country. Think about this. We were independent in 1980, right? So I'm a 91 baby, which means that if I'm born free, my father, who never saw his grandfather, or his father was my grandfather, who never actually related to him from an emotional space because the environment didn't allow them. He saw that, and he didn't know how to be father to us, to show us how to do it. And he comes up after that. So we only do what we know. That's number one. Also, number two, and I'll speak from experience as a person who has a sister, who has cousins, and also who has been in relationships where, for the most part, speaking up is an environment made up of three things: being heard, being seen, and being understood. More often than sometimes, when you speak up, you're not heard, you're not seen, and you're not understood. And more, when those three things don't happen, you don't want to speak up because you don't feel seen, you don't feel heard, and you don't feel understood, right? So I'll be honest, I was laughing with someone saying at some point I realized that I knew so much about my ex-girlfriend. I knew her intimately, but she didn't know anything about me. Like, she didn't know the world that was inside my head. So when I had issues and I shut down, she would then say, "No, you don't let me in." And I'm like, "No, it's too risky to let you in this moment of my life when I'm really down, because you're not familiar with this space. How about you take a walk inside this world when we're good, when we're just doing life?" But you don't do that, right? Because also men were the merit of who we are is what we bring on the table. Can you provide? Can you protect? It's not how you feel. It's not how you got to be in this state. So also we never learn how to interpret our feelings. And when we do, sometimes, no, he's aggressive, or no, because I never learned how to decode these feelings into words. So when I'm passionate, I'm talking about it, you then call me aggressive. I'm not feeling seen. I'm not feeling heard. I'm not feeling understood. The only places we do that, though, are with my homies. I feel understood because I don't have to decode my world, because we kind of have the same world. So, from my experience, personally, when I've struggled to share, it's coming from that space where I just don't feel seen, I don't feel heard, and I don't feel understood. I feel seen when I put something on the table. I feel understood when I protect. I feel heard when I protect. So I then use my ability to provide and protect to feel heard, seen, and understood. So don't blame the guy who uses his ability to do that as a way they get seen, because we never created an alternate environment for them to feel like that. I watched my father go through it, and as a man, I'm going through it right now, but only that we are learning differently. Like, wait, we can also talk about this. But women also haven't, or in fact, not women, the world hasn't created an environment where men can feel seen, heard, seen, and understood. That's what I think.
And period. And cut. Yeah.
And like, I'm very honest and very open. I feel like with my divorce, it was a situation where it doesn't mean that the person was bad, but we did not manage to get to a place where we can relate on that personal level, you know. Blame it to the fact that I am a trauma counselor and whatever. But like, I always remember that. I remember when I was doing premarital counseling, that the pastor said to me, "Be naked with each other, not in the physical,
Metaphorically."
Yeah, be naked with each other." And I think our generation really struggles with that, because we're all about the aesthetic, all about what you have, all about what you look like. But what is it that's really inside of you that makes you connect with someone else? You know? Yeah.
Can I say, I think that comes with, it's an exercise, right?
Yeah.
And I think what people should invest in is the ability to ask the right questions. As Arnold is saying so aptly, that when you're trying to get to the heart of a man or the mind of a man, if you're asking Sakacheta say, right, which is a valid question,
Yeah.
right? Cheta say there's a situation, and now we engage this problem solving mode, right? No one's asking how you feeling in the wake of
They want you
right?
to act.
Yeah, no, I get it. That's
As a
something, it's a
man,
valid question.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, if we are asking more questions, good, right questions, I think we can have a better approach from men in how to deal with matters and address issues. So I think I'd be a lot more excited solving a problem, knowing that I'm seen, that I'm heard, that I'm understood holistically, other than just what I can do, because I've been asked. And I'll just sort of end with saying this, that one thing that I've realized from a place of reflection, introspection, is that I struggle to ask for help. Right? It actually plagues me, it kicks me, and because it's that bit of a safety net on, if I mess it up, then I've only got myself to blame. But if I'm trying to depend on someone else and they disappoint me, right? So having people that have recently also been privy to that, Godfrey, do you need help? How can I help you? It's changed my life, and sometimes I'm like, being able to say yes to that has been quite a revelation of sorts. On yes, I do need help actually. Yeah, please grab this for me. Please help me with that. It's been so edifying. So I don't know, if people are asking the right questions, it'll help. At least the ladies, if you want to know how you can help us,
Yeah.
ask the
Ladies,
right-
ladies,
ask the right
ladies.
questions. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to explain a concept, and I hope I can relate to you this concept as succinctly as possible. So, perfect extremes and imperfect normal. So, when you meet a person for the first time, naturally all of us get into a perfect extreme mode, right? Because you're trying to be impressive. It's your performance. You're trying to be impressive. So you're pulling the chair, you're opening doors, you're doing everything, you're buying the expensive meal, you're really trying to show up from a perfect extreme standpoint. But at some point, within the space of dating and knowing a person and spending time with people, you fall into your imperfect normal, because that's the person you are every day, right? However, unfortunately for a lot of men, we are not allowed to become imperfect and normal. So we are functioning
there.
extremely on the perfect extreme. In our perfect extreme, in our performance. That's why men kill themselves. That's why men become alcoholics. They become all these things because they do not have a place where they can be imperfect and normal. Imperfect and normal means sometimes I don't have a plan. Imperfect and normal means sometimes I'm feeling needy. Imperfect and normal means sometimes I want you to reassure me that I'm looking good, because I'm not feeling that myself. Imperfect and normal means that sometimes I doubt myself and I need you. But perfect extreme says you don't do that. Like, you don't become Clark Kent, you're Superman. So that's why certain men, when they stop providing, they stop feeling like they're men, or they're not allowed to be imperfect and normal. But through the valleys, the peaks and valleys of life, you're going to go through that, right? So what am I saying here? I'm saying, I get it. We are attracted to the perfect extreme, but it would be also cool if we created environments where we are imperfect and normal. I think that's why marriages are failing nowadays. We marry the performance and never the person. So we marry the perfect extreme, but we never marry the imperfect and the normal. So when we interact with the imperfect and the normal, we get spooked out. We throw our toys out the court, like, how dare he does this? No, that was just the imperfect. He was always like this. Only that you never experienced it because you were attached to the performance. So, do we know the people we are with? Our friends, our lovers, do we know them beyond their performance? Who are they when they're not performing? We're sitting across a table, lovely woman, getting to know each other, and she brings up love languages and everything. It's like, what's your love language? That's like a date hack nowadays. Everyone like throws that out. Like, what's your love language? Then we started talking about love languages, and I was explaining to her that I was like, I don't have a particular order because I'm still getting to know myself, and I'm an evolving person, so that changes all the time. However, I'll tell you of an experience that there's a person who made me aware. I didn't know that physical touch was so important to me until someone created an environment where it could be expressed, right? So I was like, I didn't know that about myself. I was like, I didn't know that about myself until, so I'm an evolving human being. What I can tell you though is I love all of them the same way. So I lost my train of thought, but yeah, it's to do with, let's create enough the environments where people can be imperfect and can be normal, and can be okay being imperfect and being normal, and can be heard, can be seen, can be understood. Because it's not enough to be seen, it's not enough to be heard. Because if you're seen and you're heard but you're not understood, it's never gonna be enough. But you need to be heard, you need to be seen, you need to be understood. So imagine if all the time you asked the people that are around you, like, hey, do you feel seen? Do you feel heard? Do you feel understood? How can I do that better to make you feel seen, to make you feel heard, and to make you feel understood? I think would develop more healthier relationships that are imperfect and are normal than the perfect extremes of the performance of who we are. I hope we can do that more.
Ooh, guys. Okay. So we have come to the end of the podcast.
Yes.
Ooh.
I'll be calling you guys again, please, because
Why didn't we do the paper thing? Like,
the paper thing. Did you guys? Okay, can we answer your
like, because I
question?
saw
Please,
papers in front of us.
Yeah,
Please,
Can you answer? Let's see before you guys go. Can I do one as well?
For sure.
Hectic.
That's easy. That's easy, man.
It's not easy at all.
What's your question?
So my question is,
Yeah?
what is your dream car?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so it's changed over the years, but right now, my dream car is a Land Rover Defender, like the old school butch.
Oof. Go on.
What color?
Is it pimped up? Is it pimped
it's
up?
Pimped up, of course.
Yeah.
It's,
What color?
There's this. I think it's off orange. It's like a metallic orange.
Okay.
And
can see it.
it's got black accents, and oh my days, like
You can
Okay.
see it?
you can, oh, yeah. No,
Right.
because I love outdoor. I love being outdoor.
Yeah.
Dust road terrain. So challenge me on that driving experience, and that one would be a nice drive. Yeah,
You know, we
Yeah.
maybe getting a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine is Celebrity Crush.
Yes.
Condola Rashad. You know Condola Rashad?
No, I don't.
I look up Condola Rashad. Like,
How do you spell that
I will
name?
Look her up.
Condola Rashad.
Okay,
Okay.
cool.
Yeah, you need to look up.
Mine is. What is the biggest lesson you've learned in 2021 so far?
Yeah,
Wow.
the biggest. You've learned a lot this year, so I don't know about the biggest.
Guys, my
Let's say the most traumatic, the most revealing, the most outstanding.
I had to laugh, others will cry, but God is good. God
Amen.
is good all the time.
Yeah.
Right now, as we're sitting here, this podcast was not supposed to happen today. But God is always faithful.
I feel like you're dodging and you're going through files and you're thinking, which one?
Too many.
Just give us one. It doesn't have to be the biggest.
Too many.
Biggest lesson.
I will be so open and so honest, and I guess that's where the podcast will end. I am not supposed to be here today. Last year this time, my doctor was like, "You've got cancer. You've got what? Here we are speaking about this podcast. So my biggest lesson: we don't stop.
We don't stop.
We do not stop.
Let's go.
And we are continuing, guys.
Come on.
We are continuing.
Boop, 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 boop. No, that's it.
We are
Like,
continuing.
yeah.
God is faithful. God is God. And we are continuing. I'm in awe of God's grace upon my life. I really am. I really am. I'm in awe. I really am. And I'm determined to do what it is that He wants me to do. I am appreciative of every one of you guys who came. This is not a joke, guys. When I was calling every single person, guys, come to this podcast,
Come on,
and everyone said, "Okay."
we
didn't even talk for
30 seconds. I was just, Can you come on like
Everyone
done?
was
Like,
okay.
done.
Is this a trick question?
It's a question
What
you're
do you
there.
mean? Yeah.
Tough year, tough months, tough days, but God is God.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the biggest lesson for you is that God is good.
God is God.
I just want to really take them time to say this to you before
Yeah.
we end this. You're doing so well.
Thank you so much.
Continue to do well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, at a certain point, God has a conversation with Esau and says, "Yo, if you do well, will you not be accepted? Yo, you're doing well,
Thank you.
and we accept you."
Thank you.
Yeah,
I love
like
you guys as well. Thank you so much. You know, I'll be seeing more of you guys, I think.
Of course.
Because you know what? Our generation needs us. They need us to be naked. They need us to be true. They need us to share more of ourselves. So yeah, this is the Tinevimbo podcast, episode 2.
pew 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 pew.
Now
And
I'm
let's
excited,
see what
man.
else God has in store for us, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you
Fun
so
times
much,
ahead.
guys.
Thank you for having us.
Bye.